Hello, welcome again to the Walking Word, where we go through the Holy Bible in a year as part of discipling. My name is Annie, and we had taken a bit of a hiatus, but we are back. And we are in the first book of Kings, chapter 16, where we saw the reign of Nadab, the reign of Bashaa, and now we're looking to go see the reign of Ella. Remember, the book of Kings is a book about the rise and fall of the Israelite monarchy. So the kings, their faithfulness to God and God stands with them, or their unfaithfulness to God and the repercussions for that. So we're in First Kings chapter 16. The Lord spoke against Baasha to Jehu, son of Hanani, and said, Inasmuch as I lifted you up from the dust and made you ruler over my people Israel, but you have imitated the conduct of Jeroboam, and have caused my people Israel to sin, provoking me to anger by the sins. I will therefore destroy you, Baasha, and your house. I will make your house like that of Jeroboam, son of Nebat. Jeroboam, son of Nebat. If anyone of Baasha's line dies in the city, dogs shall devour him. If he dies in the field, he shall be devoured by the birds of the sky. The rest of the acts of Baasha, with all his valor and accomplishments, are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Baasha rested with his ancestors. He was buried in Tirzah, and his son Ella succeeded him. Succeeded him as king. Through the prophet Jehu, son of Hanani, the Lord had threatened Baasha in the sight of the Lord, provoking him to anger by his evil deeds, so that he became like the house of Jeroboam, and because he killed Nadab. Okay. Verse 8, in the 26th year of Asa, king of Judah, remember the kingdoms are split into two, king of Judah, Ella, son of Baasha, began his 2-year reign over Israel in Tirzah. His servant Zimri, commander of half of the chariots, plotted against him, and he was in Tirzah drinking to excess, getting drunk basically, getting wasted, um, in the house of Arza, the superintendent of his palace in Tirzah. Zimri entered, he struck and killed him in the 27th year of Asa, king of Judah, and reigned in his place. So basically, his right-hand man killed him and took over. Okay? Verse 11, once he was seated on the royal throne, who's sitting on the royal throne? Zimri now. He killed off the whole house of Baasha, not sparing even a single male relative or friend of his. Zimri destroyed the entire house of Baasha, as the Lord had prophesied to Baasha through the prophet Jehu, because of all the sins which Baasha and his son Ella committed and caused Israel to commit, provoking the Lord, the God of Israel, to anger and by their idols. The rest of the acts of Ella, with all that he did, are written in the book of the Chronicles of the King of Israel. Reign of Zimri. Now this right-hand man who took over. In the 27th year of Asa, king of Judah, Zimri reigned 7 days in Tirzah. The army was besieged Gibbethon of the Philistines when they heard that Zimri had formed a conspiracy and killed his king, basically. So that day in the camp, all Israel proclaimed Omri, general of the army, king of Israel. Omri marched up from Gibbethon, accompanied by all Israel, and laid siege to Tirzah. Tirzah, where Zimri is now leading as king, right? When Zimri saw that the city was captured, he entered the citadel of the royal palace and burned down the palace over him. Like, let's just die now. Let's let it all. Like he pulled an Adolf Hitler, basically. Just let me kill everything plus myself. When Zimri saw the city was captured, he entered the citadel of the royal palace and burned down the palace over him. He died because of the sins he had committed, doing evil in the sight of the Lord by imitating the sinful conduct of Jeroboam. thus causing Israel to sin. When a leader sins, it's only a matter of time before the followers also start sinning. It just is what it is. 20. The rest of the acts of Zimri with the conspiracy he carried out are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Nonetheless, he was still acknowledged as king, even in the book of Israel. At that time, the people of Israel were divided, half following Tibni, son of Ginath, to make him king, and half Omri. The partisans of Omri prevailed over those of Tibni, son of Ginath. Tibni died, and Omri became the overall king. Reign of Omri. In the 31st year of Asa, king of Judah, Omri became king. He reigned over Israel 12 years. The first of were in Tirzah. You remember where he took over Zimri? Then he then bought the hill of Samaria from Shemer for 2 silver talents and built upon the hill, naming the city he built Samaria after Shemer, the former owner. But Omri did evil again in the Lord's sight, beyond any of his predecessors. Like he was now even more evil than the guy he killed. He closely imitated the sinful conduct of Jeroboam, son of Nebat. You will hear this name in scripture over and over again. Like what this guy did just irked heaven so much, causing Israel to sin and provoke the Lord, the God of Israel, to anger by their idols. The rest of the acts of Omri, with all his valor and accomplishments, are written in the book of the Chronicles of the King of Israel. Omri rested with his ancestors. He was buried in Samaria, and his son Ahab succeeded him as king. In the 38th year of Asa, king of Judah. So in Judah, you can see the king is living long. In Israel, the kings are coming and going, coming and going. Ahab, son of Omri, became king of Israel. He reigned over Israel in Samaria for 22 years. Ahab, son of Omri, did evil in the sight of the Lord more than any of his predecessors. So even worse, and this is what we call generational iniquity. When the sin starts small, but by the time it gets to your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, like it is crazy. You begin so slowly, as an adulterer, your children become polygamous, then they become just philanderers, then they become just now wicked, plain out wicked, and it just goes the sin. And that's what the difference between sin and iniquity. Iniquity tends to be generational because it actually lives in the cells. And science has proved this. This is not only scriptural. And either way, scripture proves science, right? So in the 38th year, as Asa, king of Judah, Ahab, son of Omri, became the king of Israel. He reigned over Israel in Samaria for 2 years. Ahab, son of Omri, did evil in the sight of the Lord more than his fathers, his predecessors. It was not enough for him to imitate the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat. He even married Jezebel, daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and went over to the veneration and worship of Baal. Ahab erected an altar to Baal in the temple of Baal, which he built in Samaria, and also made a sacred pole. A sacred pole was basically a strip club inside a temple, a strip pole inside a temple. Oh my goodness. He did more to anger the Lord, the God of Israel, than any of the kings of Israel before him. During his reign, Hiel from Bethel rebuilt Jericho. He lost his firstborn son Abiram when he laid the foundation, and his youngest son Segub when he set up the gates, as the Lord had foretold through Joshua, son of Nun. Let's move to drought predicted by Joshua in chapter 17.